Final community, I'm back to do a recent Final Finds video, and it's been 2 weeks and already I have a stack this big. But there's some stuff that I got before the new year. A couple of really good ones, two or three great items. But a really good bag, mixed bag today. So let's just get going, shall we? Okay, so first off is a copy of Ornette Coleman's Skies of America from 1972. This is a pretty unusual, I guess, at least, of the ones of Ornette's that I've been listening to in his catalog, because he does a recording with the London Symphony Orchestra, conducted by David Mesham, something like that, in Abbey Road Studios back in 1971-72. It's one long composition stretching over 2 sides, and it's just classical music. Ornette plays a little bit on 2 occasions, I think 2 occasions that I could hear at least. It's very special. It's not a free jazz record. It's certainly not something that you used to hear in Ornette Coleman's catalog, but very rewarding. One of the only classical albums I have in my collection now. Okay, so in 1971 we got this release, or they got this release. I was born in 1983, so I got shit. But in 2008 they reissued this in Italy, and I got that. This is Shihab with Jazz Joint 2, featuring Kenny Clark, Benny Bailey, Francis Boland, Milt Jackson, Åke Persson, and Jimmy Wood. A fantastic 2 LP set of Afro-Cuban bebop. The sessions stretch, I don't know if it's a compilation or just different sessions that they compiled together for this release back in 1971, but it stretches from 1964 all the way up to 1970. This is a monster of a record. So good. All jazz fans, listen to this. It's been a long time since I heard something that good and that got into my jazz collection. So highly recommended. 1971. Reissue 2018 on Reward Records from Italy. Get it. Okay, so some Italian prog. 1972. This was released, and I got the reissue of this because the original vinyl listing is very expensive. So I took a chance on it to listen to it before I decide on the original, if I ever find one. Fantastic. I'm going to slaughter the name because it's so fun to hear us slaughter the names. Raccomandata ricevuta ritorno. And the title of the record is Per uno mondi di cristal. Exactly like that, and that's exactly how you pronounce it. Gatefold, fantastic. This is just like the music. It sounds like this, really. Very spacey kind of Italian prog, but fantastic. I love every time I listen to Italian prog. I just feel like, why don't I have more Italian prog in my collection? This is fantastic. From fantastic to fantastic, and a classic. I didn't have this in my collection, and now I do. This is Traffic from 1968, maybe 67. Their first release, Mr. Fantasy. I mean, it doesn't get any more epic than this, and it's on the... I got this press, which I think is early 70s, when they just started with the pink rim. Otherwise, it's on entire pink island label, and the title track, Mr. Fantasy. Shit, what a song! It's just insanely good. If you don't have this, again, highly recommended. Classic rock stuff. Okay, so I've waited so long to get an original of this, and everyone wants it, and it's expensive and it's hard to get, and you never find one. And I've been waiting for 2-3 years maybe, and really looking for the record, but I just gave up and bought the somewhat bad reissue, but now I have the music at least. Stark Realities Now, and this is if not complete, so almost complete work of the Stark Reality discovers Hoagy Carmichael's Music Shop from 1971 or 70. This reissue contains the sort of ordinary songs from Carmichael's Music Shop, except for like 3, 4, 5 pieces of the short ones, and this also includes 2 bonus tracks and 1 hidden track. 2 LP set from Stone Throw Records. There's the gatefold and the back side. Press quality, I don't know, I have nothing to compare with, but it doesn't sound that good. It's a cheap reissue. If you want the music before you take the loan on the bank to get the original press of Hoagy, then sure, I can recommend this. The music is just fantastic. This is progressive funk free jazz, and it's all those genres really incorporated in one single unit. Stark Reality's Monster from 1971 it is so good. The hair on my back just stands up, and I actually played this to my wife and she did not like it. So she hated it and I just loved it. It was awesome to sit there in the couch and have these 2 experiences as it went along. But yeah, as I said, I love it, and I'm still looking for an original copy, but man, it's gonna be expensive when I find it. Okay, so this has been on my want list for some time. I wanted the Italian original press, but it's getting really expensive, and I thought, like, if I find the US press, I'll go for that. And I did, for a great price. This is Don Cherry's Brown Rice from 19... Okay, so I think the original press came in 1972, and this is from 1977, or 75, and this is from 1977. Making a fool out of myself. But okay, gatefold, unipack, you know the deal. And this is absolutely fantastic. I mean, once again, Don Cherry delivers. Great free jazz, but with that sort of spiritual jazz that I can stand, if you know what I mean. I have a hard time with spiritual jazz, but when it's done right, it's magical. And in this case, it really is. Fantastic. I even played this when me and my daughter was playing with Lego, and I asked her, do you like this, Annie? And she said, yes, Dad, it's really, really good. So growing a little Don Cherry fan there. Okay, so this is kind of funny, because 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago maybe, when I was talking with Anders, and I showed this in a video, and he said that he didn't have it. I didn't think it was that good, so I sent it to him as a gift, because I thought that if he appreciates it, he doesn't have it, I don't think that it's very good, then he should have it. So I sent it to him. 2 years later maybe, I started to like ask myself, what is it with the record that I didn't get that he really liked, and a lot of people in the, not only VC, but out there in the world. So I thought that I don't want the digital experience. I don't want to look it up on YouTube and listen to it there. I want to find a new copy and get it home and see if I get it this time. And sure, it's good. Elvin Jones is On the Mountain with John Hammer and Gene Paula from 1975 on PMR, maybe PM Records. This is the first US press. Yeah, €7. I paid for this iconic cover artwork, and yeah, it's better this time, I guess, at least. Or maybe I'm more open-minded, or maybe I just was in the mood for it. I don't know, but it was definitely better this time, and this time I'm definitely gonna keep it. It's good. It's not mind-blowing. I don't think that it's as good as people on the net is raving about it, but it's a good, solid, fusion-esque. Elvin Jones plays the crap out of drums, and John Hammer is good as always. Cheers. Sunday evening, having a beer, going up soon to do the dinner. moving on. So I was in a store and I asked him, because this was really cheap, and I asked him, is it good? It looks really, really psychedelic. And he said that, yeah, there's one track on it that is really good. So I thought of taking a chance on it. It cost me like $10, I think. And I've seen it around, but yeah, the record is Circus Maximus from 1967. And the track that he said was really good is the last track on the second side, called Wind. And yeah, it's good, but the to-go-to track on this, in my opinion, is definitely Fading Lady, the third track on the second side. On Vanguard, this is a 1975 reissue of this, but the reissue and the original press is almost as cheap. So if you want some psych pop, if you want psych in your collection, cheap, solid psych, get this Circus Maximus, and that's on Fading Lady. Killer tune. Okay, so now it's grail time. I was in this store. I traded 10, 15 records, and I got 2, 3, 4 records, something like that, for that I got for him. I showed Dr. Strange in my last video. That was one of the big ones that I got, and this is the other one. I saw it there on the wall, and my heart just stopped. And it was the right price. I mean, not cheap, but it was the right price for it, and with the trade, so it didn't cost me anything. I decided to just go for it. And I don't know, maybe they will reissue this year or the next year, but I will always be glad to have a first, almost like near mint press of Mars Volta's Francis the Mute from 2005. This is just, I'm so glad that I finally have this now. I have the CD, I played it to death, and this sounds great. So damn good. And I actually keep all it's a thick ass trifold with 3 LPs set, 1 etched side, and I keep them all in a separate sleeve. And within the sleeves and the 3 records in MoFi sleeves, it's a solid pack. And I really don't regret taking this. Of all the records, I mean, up there on the shelf or on the wall, this was really the one. I mean, if I could choose between Dr. Strangely Strange and this would be the one to go with. Even if Dr. Strangely Strange is a cooler record, it's an older record. It survived that long, and it was in great condition. It's a swirl, and you know, this and that. This is, I mean, I got this 2005 when it was released. I was a huge fan of Mars Volta, Deloused Chromatorium, and this is, I mean, it's not better in my opinion because it's more solid songs on Deloused, but this is as a piece of art, a piece of music, a piece of like a complete composition, if I may. This is better than Deloused, and it has to be one of the best releases of the 2000s. So happy to have it. It's almost like when I get goosebumps when I'm just showing this scene through the screen. So that was a good pickup. The day I got it, I got home and I knew that Roger had put up a VC video where he shows his copy that he got from a store, also on the wall. He picked it down and took it home with him. Also had to pay up for it, but yeah, I felt the same way as he looked in the video. Me being a prog fan and I mean a psych fan, it's kind of remarkable that I don't have this, but I've been looking for it, and I've been outbid on Swedish eBay, and I've never seen it in a store, not a first press at least, for a decent price. And now, you know, the moon and the stars was just aligned, so finally have Crazy World of Arthur Brown from 1968, first German press on Polydor, 1968, in fantastic condition. So I was so happy to add this to the old collection. I mean, I don't have to talk about this. All know this. You all know this. I noticed that the first US press have the picture of Arthur Brown all the way up, no bar, which is a little bit a shame that they did with the German press. It would be a nicer backside to have the entire picture all the way up, but I'm not complaining. Cool to have a European first press. A friend of mine recommended this. He had a spare copy and wanted to trade it, but we never got that far. And when I saw it for I think $10 or something like that in a store, I just grabbed it based on his recommendation. And sure, it's good. Television adventure from 1978. I think Marky Moon came in 1977, 76, 77. So I grabbed it, got home. It's an okay record. I think that side 2 was better than side 1. The first track on side 2, Fire. The Fire was really good. But I mean, the bar is set pretty high with releasing a record after Marky Moon, which is a masterpiece. And this, in my opinion, doesn't come close to Marky Moon. Not even close. I mean, shit. But it's a good record. Some more jazz for you. This is Rejoice by Pharoah Sanders from 1981. First US press. Really good too. I mean, I need more Sanders in my collection. I think I only have Themby. And this has some killer players on here, like Billy Higgins and Elvin Jones playing on Bobby Hutcherson and a bunch of other guys. Really cool. Yeah, fantastic. Free jazz, almost also spiritual, but in a Pharoah Sanders, not Pharoah Sanders, yeah, Pharoah Sanders kind of way, with the stuff that I've heard from him. But yeah, Rejoice, really good. And I'm gonna finish this off with two really huge ones for me. This is a Danish prog grail. I mean, a $2,000 record from 1970, and in 2007 Shadow's Music or Records did a reissue of this, and they did everything like one should. Terje, Jesper and Joachim. It's garagey, psychedelic, prog, heavy prog, heavy blues rock maybe, very almost lo-fi sounding, but there's nothing wrong with the musicianship. It's not super solid. I mean, it's still, I mean, the garagey feel is there. Maybe they could have done a better job when they recorded it, but then again, it's part of the charm, I think, with this release. That it's not super tight. It's just very, I mean, you can really hear how glad they am for displaying music, and the passion is really bursting out through the speakers. There's the label there. So they copied the original label. They just wrote Shadow's down in the corner. It's thick as vinyl and comes with an insert too, limited to 450 copies. So get this while still fairly, I say fairly cheap, but a monster in the like heavy prog, heavy psych section. So Denmark. Now we go to Norway, and in Norway, at the same time as the German group Popol Vuh was kind of getting famous, a Norwegian band was also getting somewhat famous, also called Popol Vuh. This is they released 2 records. This is the second one, and you can see here's a Mayan mask here, but you can see the first LP through the mask. So the red here and white is like a, yeah, so it's like that the first LP in the background there. And here's the guys on stage here, really rocking it. This is heavy rock. it's definitely got a huge splash of progressive rock, but I think that this is more on the heavy rock side than their first record that I don't have. Still looking for that. It came originally with a black like shopping bag that said Popol Vuh and had the mask on, but you never see that, and if you see that, you pay like 3-5 times the money for what goes for, just because of the bag, and it's still kind of expensive, but it's great. Some songs just okay, but some songs is killer. And check out the song Yesterday, first song on the second track, or on the second side. That's a killer song. Shit, I just had to stop everything I was doing when that song came on. Great Norwegian heavy prog. Popol Vuh, Kish Maya, the second one. They actually, because of the German band Popol Vuh, they changed their name later on to become Popol Ace, because they didn't want to compete with Popol Vuh, or they got sued. But I don't know don't take my word for it. This has been on my want list forever and ever and ever. This is a Swedish prog jazz fusion record called Berit's Halsband from 1975. It really sounds like a 1975 kind of fusion record, but it's entangled with that sort of Swedish folk music that I always talk about, which I love when they incorporate that in the different sort of genres. You have fusion, very popular in England and in the United States, and here in Scandinavia it sounded in a slightly different way. You have your prog and heavy prog, you have your psychedelic music. And here in Sweden, I think that the bands that incorporated the Swedish folk music, those were the ones that were the best. And this is definitely one of those bands. Now, Berit's Halsband is not easy to find, and it's not easy to find in good shape, and it's not easy to find with the original in the sleeve. And I got them all for a great price. I haggled it down. Took my time with the store that had it, and they finally decided to ship it away. So yeah, super happy to get that finally. I've been searching really hard for this for maybe 3 years, 3-4 years at least, like really hard, watching every time it comes out on Swedish eBay, seeing it in stores, but it's always been overpriced, like $100, up towards $100, and it has been cheaper than that. So I wanted the cheaper price, but still a very good copy of it. So everything comes for he who waits, I guess. Has it been worth the wait? Hell yes. Awesome. Berit's Halsband, jazz fusion prog from 1975, and a milestone kind of record in the Swedish psychedelic and progressive music. If you read the books and the lists, and you look up on the internet like Swedish progressive jazz, that one's gonna be there on that list. I guarantee it. It's so good. Only released one record, Berit's Halsband, and this band. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Hope you dug the records I've shown. And if you have any comments or questions, please let me know down below, and I'll answer them. Talk to you soon. Bye.